Little introduction.
Sorry, I just.
Introduction.
Okay, yeah, please go on.
Yeah, so we did a really lovely event in Stockholm recently with Emil. I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right?
Yeah,
Before
that's
you.
fine. Yeah, that's a good version of it.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so
good.
what is the correct version of it?
Well, what is the correct version of it? Yeah,
Yes,
it's it's
Judy.
it's Emil. Yeah, it's good.
Emil,
The name is
Emil,
Emil.
Emil.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Emil, actually.
Emil. Yeah.
Emil. No, Emil. All right, stress the E. We got this. We got this. Hi. And
Um,
so who have we got here? Maybe you want to introduce her yourself,
Yeah,
Emil.
Emil. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit.
Distracted. Yeah, that's fine.
Mommy just got
Listen,
home
I
as
was actually
well.
still talking about our event. We did a really nice event together in Stockholm recently. This was only 2 months ago. Um, and
Yeah.
it was the first time, well, it was my first time being in Stockholm. It wasn't your first time, Stas, but it was the first time I was doing an event in Stockholm. And it
Hmm.
was really lovely. I will have to hand over the mic to you now because the people they kind of know who we are. But maybe you want to explain us, like tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what we did at the event, what you did at the event for us.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it was lovely to have you over. It was a beautiful session we had together. And so my main modality is breath work that I use in different ways. So how to harness the powerful breath that we all have in order to go deep within or to find a sort of balance day to day as well. So either we work creating a functional breath, like every breath we take to make that a healthy one, or like on the other side of that polarity, to go like on a deep breathwork journey for 2 hours, just breathing and breathing and breathing way too much than we actually need in order to go deep within. So, and I work within the entire spectrum of that. So, functional breathing and then deep breathwork journeys. And then I'm also now stepping into more coaching where I want to help other people actually find their own purpose, take the same journey that I have done, and help people just activate the true potential within.
That's beautiful. Yeah, for sure. I'm still distracted by Uni, her beautiful energy. Hey, she already introduced herself, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, very nice. We're to the left. Are we just with Nurania right now in the session? We are, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Are. Well, it doesn't matter. We're recording it. We're sharing it with whoever. And it's very nice to see you again, Nurania. Thanks for joining us and being here.
yeah.
And the reason why we're doing is because obviously we wanted to invite people from all walks of life when it comes to this Conscious Parenthood Month, right? Like people from all over the different places and like getting a bit of like an insight on how they view parenthood, but also the choices that we make when it comes to parenthood and the why. So Emil, we actually just we invited you obviously to talk about all of the beautiful work that you do, but there was also like a big decision that you recently made to be there in a more like in a larger capacity time wise for your lovely daughter who I'm so excited has joined us in this session. So maybe you want to expand on that a little bit more. You want to explain to how you got to that decision and what it's like for you, because must be quite a switch up from what you used to do or how you used to live your life.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm taking like 4 months of full-time daddy leave, which for some people here in Sweden is average maybe, or some people do even longer than that. And then some people don't do any daddy leave at all. So it was quite an easy decision for me actually to, yeah, to get as many days and months as possible with her in this precious period of her life, just to, yeah, just to hang out with her, just to get that privilege really to just see the world from her eyes, like day and night, not only coming home from work and doing that. Mommy, du kanske kan vara med henne lite. um
She's amazing.
so so I wish actually that I could spend more time with her going into next year as well, but it's going to be tricky, especially since I'm now building up my business, and it's always a balance, right? To be able to stay with the family, but also, try and create something on the side as well that will help us in the long run.
Mhm.
So what I will do after New Year's is to spend 1 day a week with her, Fridays, only spending time with her, and then work for the rest of the days, Monday up to Thursday.
And so sorry, that starts in January, you said?
Yeah, exactly. So she begins in preschool, or what is it called, kindergarten, or
Mm-hmm.
in early January. So
Nice.
up until that, I'm just with her.
And that's isn't that like because I feel like you just said something about paternity leave is a common thing, right, in Scandinavia. We
Yeah.
unfortunately in the Netherlands are not as lucky, and here in the US there is no such thing. I mean,
Mm.
even maternity leave is very compromised in the sense that it's like I think they get 2 weeks here. Women get 2 weeks after they give birth before they are expected to go back to work. So
Yeah.
that in itself is also very interesting how like it varies per country, the importance of the role a father plays in the lives of their children. And do
Yeah.
you like feel that when you're in Stockholm? Is that like is it more of a normalized thing for the father to be like more involved in the lives of
Yeah.
their children?
It is actually. You meet a lot of fathers around. So I'm not special at all. I'm not like the Holy Father, not at all.
Far.
So I actually bump into many fathers. So usually the mom stays for quite some time, maybe up to, I think the mother of my child was home for like, oh, was it more than a year?
Mm,
Um, and then I took over after that, and so 4 months is basically kind of average, I would say. Uh,
right.
but depending on what you do, if I had like a normal full-time job, I would probably just squeeze every day out of it as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a compromise, so
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, so
So you do go to the playground and there being quite a lot of dads at the playground with you. It's more of a
yeah,
normal thing to see than
exactly.
an anomaly. Okay, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's kind of the norm. It's becoming also more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it growing year by year, almost like more and more dads out there.
Mm-hmm. And
Beautiful.
so, sorry, it's a bit of an interview setup. So let me just ask one question, Sus, and then I'll
Yeah.
on the mic to you. But I'm very curious to see because this has been quite a recent shift. Do you notice anything different about yourself now that you're like spending more time with Uni? That's her name, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you notice a shift in yourself or like changing your awareness? Because obviously you have this important guide with you 24/7
Yeah,
around
100%.
you.
Yeah, on many levels. Like it's a huge shift in every aspect of your life, of course. Getting a child, and you're seeing her spend time with her mom for the first year, with me working a lot from home as well, being always there. But then actually taking the full responsibility over her, like it's a major shift. In the beginning, it's like I felt a lot of insecurity. How can I step up and be the main parent now for like 4 months? It was kind of scary. But the one major shift is like she's my main priority right now. She is the one that I like always look for where
Yeah.
she is. Or as before, I've been a freelancer, building my own business for like 15 years. So that's been always my main concern.
Mm.
But now it isn't. It can't be. It's impossible, even if I wanted to. So just that, to shift your entire state of being towards another person and be it completely in service. That
Yeah.
is that is the major shift, I would say.
Yeah.
And
I
just
think
pull through whenever it's tough, whenever you're tired, and everyone's tired, and there's poop, and there's, you know,
that's yeah.
but to just pull through and stay aware, using all the things that you have learned in the past, everything that you have worked on, to be able to use that and harness that in your own daily life also.
Yeah, it's quite an awakening, and I think like whenever you just it's even obvious when you just meet her. This is a feisty little girl who knows what she wants and who's very like she seems very determined in life as to especially also like guiding both you and as well as your partner and really, because it's funny, the reason I'm asking you a lot of questions is she's kind of also making me asking you a lot of questions. And I can see that you're slightly uncomfortable and hesitant to be in the limelight. And she's like, no, but he can't be anymore. Right. It's very in your purpose, when it comes to your purpose and when it comes to your soul's mission. I very much, she's showing me like, hey, it's really important for him to step forward. And so this whole paternity time where it almost seems as if you're almost disappearing in the background because you're spending quite a lot of time at home and with her, you're actually preparing yourself to step forward in a very big way.
Mm.
I'm not in no means or way I'm trying to make you feel uncomfortable. It's just like she's like, hey, make this more like an interview setting because I want my dad to just, step
Mm.
forward and be like, hey, this is where I am, this is who I am, and this is what I have to offer the world because there's so much you have to offer the world. Um, but yes, so I'll pass the mic over to you.
Let me listen if she wants to ask more questions, Emil. No, for sure. No, but I can also sense in the energy that while you were talking, like there's so much going on in the dynamics with our children. Like there's so much, like they are big healers, right? They heal parts of us in the dynamics with them, in the interaction with them, and I could sense that while you were talking, what Rochelle just relayed to you as well, like this stepping forward and like yeah, growing in your energy. Like there's so much more going on in the
Mhm.
day than we sometimes notice, especially in the interaction with our children. So they are preparing us for our mission or to step more into our mission. I really sense that in the energy. So. Yeah, that feels so beautiful. And also while you were talking about like that it's more common in Sweden for dads to spend time with their children, that feels as it's such an important portal, I would say, like for men to spend time with these important guides to open fully their hearts and to let this soul mission, yeah, be who you are, right? And to allow more of your soul to be present in your human avatar.
Mhm.
So I could really sense that like that Sweden is
Ahead
it's
of the game.
yeah, ahead of the game. I don't think that like the people that make these rules or like the offer that decided that there's also maternity relief for dads, if you can say it like that they really understand the impact that that has, but it has a very deep impact. I can sense that. Like there's so because children are, is that the word resentless? Like I can see uni.
Relentless.
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 Yeah, I can see uni like grabbing you by your heart and like like okay, let's go. Like so they have the energy, the energetic power, I would say, to bring us to that place where we haven't been before. So yeah, and again, allowing our children to do that with us, and especially also with the fathers. Yeah, it feels so important. Feels really important. Yeah.
Actually quite interesting because while you were channeling this, Sas, I'm they're showing me this beautiful vision of like a busload of people, a busload of kids who are like walking into like a multinational, like a corporate building, right? In the city center, just not trying to wreak havoc, but to stir things up and to literally picking up their dads from their desks, like, hey, if you really want to find answers, find them with me and in the dynamic with me. And that's why I also felt how important it was to have, he's back.
She agrees.
But
Yeah.
yeah, how important it was to have this conversation with you as one of the only few men that we're having these talks with, to stress, hi, yeah, I know you, how important she is, but how important our children are, especially when it comes to like the masculine energy, to divert the masculine energy into a more feminine energy, mostly for men, at this point in time. And I think, so is it quite interesting that both my husband as well as yours, I'm just for reference, I'm calling him a husband. He's not officially your husband, but he's boyfriend sounds like you're 18. So let's say partner, husband. They both had their stint, well, they're currently even having Like my partner lost during COVID, like he didn't lose his job, but he was made redundant and he was then setting up his own business. And while he was setting up his own business, like took care of our kids on a full-time basis. Whereas before that was more my task. And it was, he spent a solid 4 years navigating, well, 2.5, 3 years, where he was actually mostly responsible for our kids. And I was, doing all this night average psychic stuff and traveling around the world. And so on a simultaneous basis, like I think the same thing happened to you, Sauce, where your partner then stepped in and went like, hey, how about you work full time and I look after the kids on a more full-time basis? And that I would say allowed for them to do whatever they need to do in the world. So I saw a major shift within my husband, like where I was like, hey, you are a completely changed man because you spend so much time with them. And I feel that is exactly what our children are trying to explain to us. Like, spend time with me, allow me to be your teacher and show you who you are. Right. And I do that in various different ways, but mostly energetically. I'm showing you who you are and who you could be, what your potential is. And again, that's what your beautiful daughter was also explaining to me about yourself. But it's just funny how the three of us we have lived like
Mhm.
similar lives on different places in the world.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that point. And also for me personally, it's given me a chance to also step into my masculine energy way more than before,
Mm,
as the protector, as the one that sort of holds space for
yeah.
everything to just happen in the house and to allow mother and child to do their thing and whilst being the protector of that space. And that is a completely new thing for me.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna cut this clip to put on our socials so that for those of you who are gonna want to watch it, like because that is such an important way of viewing this. Like it actually enhanced your masculine energy as well. That makes a lot of sense. That's
more
beautiful.
so than for me personally, that's my journey, right? So
Hmm.
I've been a lot in the feminine. I've been a lot like flowing in life, just flowing, having no real responsibility over anything but myself. And then suddenly I have these two precious women, or one little girl and a woman that okay, now I'm the provider, like sort of not really 100%, but I'm actually there to support and protect to the fullest. That's my only job right now. So,
Mm,
and
I
that is
love that.
beautiful. That's really beautiful to step into that and allow myself to just fully embrace that also.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
is so. Oh, sorry, no, you go ahead.
No, it's so beautiful because you're showing me also that, like, when a man can really do that, like the feminine energy can flourish. Like if you truly support, then the feminine energy can flourish, and that's, yeah, that's so deep. It's there's also alchemy going on in that, like with the feminine and the masculine energy, of course, but like to figure that out again in these times, right? With things changing and our consciousness rising, like how to, yeah, to add up to each other, or how do you say that? To
Compliment each other.
complement, yeah, exactly, in a way that makes sense again because of a different state of consciousness that is here right now. So yeah.
Because it's also easy to think, oh, when you are thinking about raising children, you're solely tapping into the divine feminine energy. But that's not that, and that's for me, I wouldn't say sorry, my husband's actually calling me as we speak. Um,
He wants
that's
to listen, I think. He wants to hear it.
yeah, it's like, wait a minute, I want to be part of this. But it's interesting to think of on this. It's like, well, no, it's actually you tap into both energies here. You get to step into your nurturing feminine energy, but it's also allowing you as a man to be like, no, but I'm also really fully honing in on my masculine energy more than you would if you had a 9 to 5 somewhere, because you wouldn't feel as much as the protector of your household as you get to be now. This is very interesting viewpoint because I think there is so many men out there. I think you can agree. So it's like in the sessions we find this where we almost want to like nudge them in this direction. Like, how about you just pause your life and spend more time with your kiddos, and things will fall into place. You will feel more balanced than you've felt before. So we're using you as a poster child for this topic.
No, but it's funny because I could see you walking into these corporate buildings talking
Yeah,
about your journey. So,
yeah,
like sharing this as well, and perhaps bringing uni with you because
yeah.
she, yeah, like
Yes, exactly. She totally agrees, which I love.
that was beautiful. Like bring
That
uni with you, and it was like, yeah, I'm in.
is
I'm
I.
Then
in.
she
She's
never
been.
said no. Well, that's actually our favorite word. No.
No,
She
no
always
is
says
a
no.
good word. No is a good word.
But yeah,
No,
Hey.
it's a good
100%.
word.
Just a point on that. Like, of course, there's a big wound in the female energy right now in the collective. Of course, hundreds of years of trauma, but it's also a big wound in the masculine. I'd say there's a lot of hesitancy. There's a lot of confusion. What it is to be a man.
My God.
What is expected from us, from society, and from fatherhood, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Like we can go back to basics a little bit and then grow it from there and create your own version from it once you have established the basics. Way I see it is that in some if in a simplistic way, uh, at our house it's like maybe like this is maybe yeah we'll see how this comes out, but yeah, mother is about like creating that safe space at home, and me's more about like, hey, let's go out and just explore,
Hmm.
see what's out there.
Hmm.
um a little bit like that perhaps, but
Yeah, so
mostly,
making that space about the world, to stepping into the world and
exactly,
creating a safe space or a safe mindset for them to feel safe enough to explore the world
yeah,
around them.
and be
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm one step behind you, just watching over your shoulder, but just go out there and see what happens. Like I'm looking after you, but it's your time to just explore whatever, however you want this world. Yeah.
This is also such an interesting point because I'm currently dealing with two teenagers, and this, what you're stressing right now, what you're mentioning, is so apparent in my dynamic with Simon and the kids. I see, I see like danger everywhere. So my 14-year-old son, he's like, "Hey, mom, I'm with the boys right now, so I can stay out until 10 p.m." I'm like, "No, you're staying out until 7 p.m. and after that it's dangerous." And Simon keeps telling me, "Rochelle, let him go. You gotta let him go." Same with our daughter. He's like, "Rochelle, this is where I have to step in and like be like, hey, I have to tell you to let them go. That is your one of your biggest jobs as a parent is to make them feel safe enough to explore the world around them." And I will say the masculine energy or men in general are a little bit better at doing that.
Mm.
If I can, I don't mean, so I know that you're also better at it than I am, for sure. But I will say, I think that is a huge part that you're, again, it's important information that you're sharing about, the way you view this.
Yeah. I also think it's, I've seen it very close hand last time, when Uni is crying, I can just see how it affects her mom.
Hmm.
It's like instant, like, oh, everything just drops and just like the focus is just in on the kid. That's like, it's just built like that, right? As for me, I'm not as
Hmm.
intrinsically affected by it. I'm like, okay, let's just like deal with it. I'm not going into panic mode right away. So
Hmm.
uh, maybe it's just supposed to be like that. So I can give her a little bit more space in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's the sentence. It doesn't if affect you intrinsically as much as it would for a mom. And that's why it's so important that you're there.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a lot what's now like a very prevalent energy around the world is like and I get it, is all the women independent, I don't need no man, the men are redundant. It's not really like that. We still need one another to balance each other out, right? And that also it's also very, very clear in parenthood how that's also necessary. Because I will say that that's definitely also the case. I don't know what if that's the same for you, Sus. Is that the same for you? Is that you are more if someone's upset, like do you then run to them before your partner would?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm always jealous at Geert Willem that like I can hear them say his name like 6 times and he's just focused on something else, like and he's not disturbed by and I'm like, don't you hear this? Like why are you like there is always this checking in with them in the energy. And I remember when becoming a first-time mom, and I was walking over on the street, and I had Luca, my oldest, in this carrying bag, right? Like on your heart, on the, how do you call that? You know the thing, right? Where you put the,
Wait, baby carrier?
baby carrier. Yeah, the sling. Yeah, that thing. And I was observing moms and dads, and I could really sense this breathing space. It's funny that that comes up with you, like breathing space with dads. Like I could sense they were like less affected by the cries, and like not that they weren't affected, but it was like there was more ease and more, instead of us, like, or me feeling tense the whole time, like, oh no, I need to fix this. Oh no, there's something going on. I need to, like, and yeah, I was always a bit jealous, if I'm being honest, because I could really feel that in the energy, this difference in yeah, and that's so important. I think that men can like help women with that. Like it's okay, like it will sort itself out. And yeah, it is also very an evolutionary response, I believe. Like if the baby is crying, I need to do something, but that's also a bit exaggerated.
David.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's there's something in the system that feels old, that is more like, hey, we can more feel more relaxed, and things will sort itself out itself, right? Instead of us acting on it immediately. So yeah. And there was one other thing that came up, because we also see people in our sessions, of course, like when there are two women or two men having a child, or like there's a, but what comes up a lot of the times, and it feels important to mention that, is that when there, for example, is a donor father that isn't like known to the
Yeah.
child, it's very often that in a reading, the soul points out that this energy is so important and it needs to be integrated more in the family. Like, perhaps not on a physical level, but it needs to be present in the energy, because it's balancing the whole system, and it's balancing the energy for the child. So, yeah, that also feels
Yeah.
important that you stress that with everything that you said, Emil. Yeah.
I believe like the whatever, again, living in the US, it's really awful to see how fathers in general do not have the same rights as moms. So I also believe like, because it's always like the mom is the most important caretaker, sure, but what we're figuring out now is fathers are equally as important. And I really also want to like make that as a tagline. Fathers are important in more ways than one, not just as providers or caretakers, like financially or practically, but to balance out the energy, both in the family as well as within the child. It's so, so important. And they are deserving of equal rights. Because I will tell you, I'm from like my divorced parents. My father knew, if I'm not going to fight this, I'm not going to get any visitation rights to my kids, because they're just not granted as easily. Of course, this is the 80s, early 90s. Things have changed since, but I will say that fathers, they, in order for also for men to feel more like inclined to take up this role of more engaged and involved fathers, they also need to be given the same amount of rights as mothers. I mean, I find this incredibly important, this topic, because I see so many awful cases also within our sessions, so where I go, wow, you never get to see them. You don't get to, you don't get to be anything in their lives. It's really awful. And now we're figuring out how important you guys are to balance things out. So, I mean, talking about a lot of big topics here. It's not just I thought we are just going to tap in on your life in Stockholm as a dad, but we're now, discussing much bigger topics than I thought we would, which I love about these talks.
Mm.
Yeah, I think one of the major things that could really heal that masculine wound is to feel really needed. That's the only thing I think a lot of men would just heal from, just feeling that, okay, I'm actually needed in this situation. Like it's not that
Uh,
hard.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I can feel that. And Uni was placing her hand on your throat like a few minutes ago. I don't know if you noticed that, but I could see her like, yeah, also like that you, yeah, there's such an importance in your voice, in you stepping forward and helping men feel that, like that. yeah, you should be needed, like, and you are important, and like there's so much yeah, healing that you bring uh,
Hmm.
for men that I feel. And so that's why it's so important that you yeah, that people get to hear what you have to say about this. And I
Hmm.
saw her hand like lighting up on your throat, like bringing in this voice of your soul, like to that it, yeah, that it's heard and important. Mhm.
She does that a lot. She does that a lot. Like I say,
I
like
could really see her do that. Like it was really like, yeah, but there's such a healing power in her hands as well. So
Yeah, I
oh,
absolutely love it. Yeah, I mean, again, Emil, Emil, okay, what is it again? Because I want to do it right. Because it's not
Emil.
Emil, it's Emil,
No,
Emil,
Emil, but that's the
Emil.
Swedish pronunciation. You can do your own version, do your
Yeah, okay, all right.
Netherlands, Chicago version.
Emil. Emil, then I would say hi,
Yeah,
Emil.
yeah, Emil. That's great. That's great.
No, I feel like we want to do this. This is just a start. We've been starting, we started this theme that we're doing every month. So we'll be speaking to you on other occasions. And again, I will probably after this session send some your way. We will send some people your way because it is really important to have a masculine figure be there for them. That we can stress this to a lot of men, but I feel like it doesn't is not being as absorbed as it would coming from from yourself. Um, it is so needed. I think that when you said that, in general, men would like to feel needed. I think that's a big thing for the masculine energy. And here we are with this discrepancy in the energy where us women are kind of like throwing out there, we don't want to need you. We're independent enough to not having to need you. And so there is like a global discrepancy in the energy that, I feel like all of us should cooperate to balance out again.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't work, it's not working out this way, right? Even though Beyonce did stress all women independent. I get it, Beyonce, we're on your side. But at the same time, we want to be nurtured more than we like to admit. We want to be held and carried and taken care of more than we would like to admit as women.
I think it's out of pain in women, right? To be this independent, like there is this exaggeration going on in both, right? In the feminine.
Camps.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, beautiful.
Well, we have lots of work to do, but for now, we have to start teaching our psychic school. So I think we have to like finish it, round it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Emil.
Mm.
It's been a pleasure again to see you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and good luck with this project. I'm just
Yeah.
thrilled
Well,
about
we know where to find you because this is I again I can now feel how important it is that we're doing this talk and that we're spreading the word on the importance of dads and how they need to be put in the limelight a little bit more from here on out.
it. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you, Narani, for
Good.
being here, Narania.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Speak soon. Bye.